You know what day it is? It's laundry day. And so you know what that means. I gotta time to talk about things that are going on in the world. Or not going on in the world, as it may be for you or me. But it's nice that the transit strike is over. Or at least put on pause and the drivers are back to work. It's a little hard to comprehend how during that time how much money I spent. And I spent a lot of money buying shoes for walking, renting a bike, ordering a lift, and getting Lyft for other people, helping someone, get a wheelchair transportation. And what was amazing is that the wheelchair transportation was only well, you're good. It was only I think it was 8 miles, and they couldn't go anywhere else. And so with that thought process, it's a little hard to not wonder why VTA and the union didn't have resources for the hundreds and thousands of people that utilize public transit. When I went to their website on the first day, on March 10th, there wasn't a voucher, there wasn't a resource like other places. There was this talk about a holiday party and that the strike was happening, but there was no mention of why the strike was happening. There was no mention of the negotiations that had happened, and that was good morning. That was really difficult, and it made it harder because there are resources out there: SV Hopper, Spectrum, Peninsula Veterans, and some of them were very restricted areas too, where you could or couldn't get it. Rides, RYDE was really imperative, and it's okay, you're fine. Good morning. But also, I in 1 week walked something like 80 miles. And I was going no, there's no way I could have done that. Well, I was doing other stuff. I was walking to and from the train station, which is a total of 7 miles, I think, or 8 miles. I think it's 7 miles. But also the time that's spent doing it was a lot of time. I was leaving at 5:30 in the morning to get to a 7 o'clock train or a 6:45 train. I left one morning at 6 a.m. and I got to the train station right at 7:15. But I was able to do that. Not everyone was. And another casualty was not so much because of the transit strike. I had to get a new phone, so I'm on a new phone. Yay. It's a little bit difficult to deal with. I'm trying to figure out how to fix the old phone and work this phone. But generally, I was able to do it. A lot of people were not able to do it. And that is, it didn't matter if you had a physical or a mental disability. It didn't matter your age. Kids don't know how to use a ride-hailing service, and families can't always afford them. And the $5 voucher wasn't great. I think that could have been spent better with like just having a supervisor or a VTA employee driving to and from. Hopefully they'll be able to negotiate a little bit better. Hopefully they'll at least keep the light rail running, because the light rail was damaged the most from the strike. And I'm not so sure if people didn't know how to damage those. Sorry, I mean, how else do you damage them if you don't know where the copper wiring is? Or how to break open a coin box. Sorry, that takes special knowledge. Maybe not very hard special knowledge, maybe you only have to learn it once. But like, I had to rent a bike, and that was, I'm probably going to continue to rent a bike, but it was $180. Not a lot of people had $180. Add in the shoes, which was about $45. Add in the lift, which was about $150. I get over $300 really fast. The donation brought me up to $500, I think. Oh no, I am including the fact that I had to use my phone and so forth. But if I actually included the time I spent and how much I pay myself to spend time, even at $25 an hour, it's a lot. It is a lot. So it's nice that the strike has ceased. That doesn't stop them from doing sick outs or call-offs. It doesn't stop VTA from discontinuing service. VTA will not utilize, will cut service. I mean, that's a given. And the people that are going to suffer from that service is going to be people that need it. This has really kind of made me want to go ahead and get a car. I'm going to try not to, but this has been one of those times I'm like, yeah, gonna have to go get a car. Everyone wondering about a scooter or something like that. It's just easier to get a car. As far as weight loss and the Battle of the Bulge during the strike, I was really stressed. Whether walking or riding a bike or even taking a lift, there was, it just wasn't, it wasn't that it couldn't have been safer or that I wasn't safe. It's just that I was constantly on a head swivel, whether coming up to an intersection, whether coming up to a sidewalk, whether coming to a overpass. There was a lot of times, there was at least one time on the day that I took to Southwest Expressway to get to Meridian, to get to Race, I went over Highway 280, and that overpass, it jiggles. It jiggles really well. And at 6:15 in the morning, that's something you don't want to feel when you're trying to get to work or you're trying to get to your connection. And for those who thought, oh, it was an earthquake when you were over it, no. This is a full-on jiggle. And it was a jiggle from the traffic beneath, which is 280. And that was the thing about riding a bike, coming up on an intersection like the 280 interchange or the freeway off-ramp and on-ramp. Drivers do not see you out on a bike. They just don't. And they don't see you doing other things. And lo and behold, okay, I got 10 more minutes, it looks like. they just don't see you, and they don't see pedestrians either. One night I was walking back, and it was just sunset, and there's no way the drivers could see me on San Carlos. There was just no way. And then when I did take the bike, cars couldn't see me, again, that on-ramp and off-ramp, even on Ray Street, was pretty scary. It was really scary. So it was difficult financially. It was difficult physically. Just because of being stressed, I was constantly having a headache or a muscle ache, or I fell, and I got bruised, and I fell off the bike. And trust me, learning how to fall off a bike is something that you never really forget. But I do have a bike now, and I'm renting it, and I'm probably going to rent it again for another month, just because there is a little bit of a convenience factor with it. And there's a couple events I'm going to do. And, the reality is that the strike is over. Do I want to talk about politics? Yes. Oh gosh, I would love to talk about politics. There's something that came in today in my feed that I'm just not that cheerleader, sorry. It's interesting how individuals like Nancy Pelosi and her daughter Christine present things. Living in San Francisco Bay Area for the past 26 years on my own, and then before that 18 years. I took a 4-year hiatus, I guess. Actually 3.5, I don't know. But it was really difficult to live here and to see how this region is, and all those tax breaks that were given to those companies by the different cities and the governments and so forth. Nancy Pelosi was part of that. And yet we have a homeless situation that apparently is so unsolvable that she can't see past it. And yet it was Dianne Feinstein who did the most proactive and effective gun control legislation, and it expired. So that could tell you a lot about a person. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Bye.